Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to thank you all for joining Dear Chicago. This is a labor of love. I hope you appreciate what the show that we present to you all today. We love you all, Chicago. Dear Chicago. Dear Chicago. My dear Chicago, if a picture speaks 1,000 words, then tell me, why is no one listening? I know you hear me because you see me clearly. So tell me, why aren't you listening? My pain is obvious and my smiles are tears and I frown to hide my fears. I wear this mask that grins and lies, praying that someone hears. Hears the cries of a tortured soul, the suffering of a fallen angel who walks the rope between good and evil and now just merely dangles, whose search for purpose almost seems worthless. I'm unable to identify a mission, so I wander blindly with hope behind me, begging for someone to listen as I speak these words when words escape my grasp, a cry for help when I myself can't find the words to ask. In this portrait lies words unheard, symbols of true confession, but no one listens, and until they do, will remain in a state of depression. Dear Chicago Love Letters is brought to you by ConTextos and our various partners, Cred, Iman, Maafa, Firehouse, CPS, YPC. ConTextos co-create space for individuals to reflect, to write, and share stories. True stories that illuminate, elevate voices, create proximity, challenge assumptions, build empathy, stimulate conversation, and change minds and actions of diverse audiences. We do this through what we call author circles. And these author circles are being conducted in various places across the community. We're working with CPS, where Dear Chicago was born. The logo that you see on many of our screens and the very title, Dear Chicago, was born out of CPS and created by CPS students. We work in conjunction with all the partners that I've recently named, and we work inside these communities. And these partners, they work with folks who are in need of healing, right? They're in need of healing. They want to live. They want to stay alive, to not only survive, but to thrive. So this evening, we will hear voices from across Chicago, from all of our partners or partnering organizations. We come together united in a love for our city and the demand to do better, to be better. This summer has been a summer like no other for various reasons, yet here we are at the end of summer and on this beautiful beginning of fall day. James Baldwin wrote that he loved America more than any other country in this world. And exactly for this reason, he reserved the right to criticize her perpetually. The same can be written about our city. This virtual event will amplify the words and voices of those who are often unheard and have been working, living, surviving, and thriving in Chicago summer 2020. This will be an evening to connect, to heal, and build community with stories that remind us that there is both darkness and light, hope among hopelessness, that roses can and will grow from the concrete, and that our unwavering and devoted love for our communities and our city will help it rise above the adversity it faces. I want to talk to you about our author, a friend of ours. His name, Andre Jackson. Andre was a young man who lost his life this summer in Chicago. As you'll hear, as his story is read and told by one of his friends, you'll hear the struggle of Andre. But I'm here to tell you that Andre's story was cut short, because I had the opportunity to see Andre's growth, through Amon, reentry programming. I got the opportunity to see Andre's growth as a flip outreach worker, working on the streets of Chicago. So we want to celebrate Andre. And so as a way of celebrating Andre, our first piece tonight will be Andre's piece.
In memory of Andre, on the couch, laying in front room on the floor on top of all these blankets. All I could do is sit and think like, damn, am I the reason I'm sleeping right here? Then I look over and see my hardworking, loving mother laying on the couch of her hardworking parents. That's when I came up in my head, we was fucked up. Broken up porches, tall grass and bushes, holes all in the walls and ceiling. I was embarrassed to even have company. Crib so fucked up, roaches and rats everywhere. I knew the way that I was living wasn't right. All I can question is, am I the reason? Shit the way it is. Noodles, hot dogs, pork and beans, oatmeal, all I really ate daily. I got tired of that and wanted different for me and my family. Asking my mother for certain things that she couldn't do for me. She's still trying to get herself together, pay for rent, and she pregnant. Granddad and Granny can't let me hold something. They got 4 grown-ups that they're taking care of. I'm stuck like, WTF, what the fuck? What could I do to better my situation? Finally, I opened my eyes to the shit that was going on my doorsteps, which is dollars being made. Every car that ride past, stopping, passing out dollars. Shit, I like this. They got all the money, girls, big guns, cars, fighting these boys a little older than me. So this got to be the way of the world. Because everybody that come down this block giving money to somebody. But this white rock, I couldn't get my hands on it. I got an idea. I got a cousin that got these same little white rocks. Not knowing what it was, crack cocaine is what it was. Sitting in my cousin's crib one day, I decided to hit the stash. A whole bag of white rocks. Fuck that. I need some. So I stole 4 8-balls from my cousin, not knowing what to do with this shit. I was going to give it to somebody for some money. It's my time to shine now. LOL, laugh out loud. Can't wait to get to my granny's crib. It's time to get money. I went to sleep early to get back home. Boom. Break. Get up. Where my shit at? I'm laughing. I can hear my cousin going crazy, tearing the crib up looking for his work. Drake, get the fuck up. Empty your pockets. I knew this was coming. I'm young, but I ain't dumb. I've been straight ever since then.
This was Andre's beginning, but it wasn't his end. His life was cut short before we could see the greatness that he could be. Can we all take a moment of silence for not just Andre, who we lost this summer, but Shamari and Pierre as well, both of whom were young men who were working to do something more with themselves when their lives were cut short. Let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Thank you, Chicago. We love you. Lisa, would you please introduce our next speaker?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Our next speaker is Mr. Blackman. a polymath of community service and love. CPS graduate, lawyer, teacher. He is a proud husband, father, grandfather, godfather, and great-grandfather. Mr. Blackman has already published 2 books, Pass Those Cabrini Greens, Please, and Pass Those Cabrini Greens, Please with Hot Sauce. Currently, Mr. Blackman works as a life coach for Chicago Cred at the Youth Peace Center of Roseland, where ConTextos holds author circles, and also has pioneered the Dear Chicago Love Letters with us. Mr. Blackman, we are grateful for your energy and brilliance in Circle, and we are eager to hear what you have to share today. Born and raised in Chicago, Mr. Blackman remains loyal to his roots, love, vision, and Chicago.
Thank you, Lisa, for that kind introduction. As has been previously said, I love Chicago. I was born and raised in Chicago, in Cabrini Green, one of the toughest neighborhoods in the city. I attended one of the finest high schools in the city, Lane Tech, and I simply love and adore Chicago. So here's my piece, my contribution. Dear Chicago, a love letter from the sun. We from the same mud, same ghettos, same slums, same stockyards, same junkyards, same villas, same hoods, same hills. We ran the same avenues, same streets, same boulevards, same turf, same fields, same tracks, same alleys. We shared the same blood, same sweat, same skin, same tears, same losses, same wins. We feel the same pain, same shame, same blame, same pride, same grief, same stimulus, same relief. We know the same peeps, same folks, same cops, same creeps, same freaks, same ops. We rap the same sayings, same slang, same teams, same games, same mascots, same L's, same buses, same trains. We love the same food, same Polishes, same deep dish pizza, same ribs, same fries, same steaks. So how you gonna take the lion's share of the spoils for yourself and those you consider loyal to your cause and leave the rest of us in the street like ghosts without sheets? Boo on you, you stupid fool, because what you do to me already been done to you. We in the same stew, same me, same you. No matter the weather, same rain, same wet, same snow, same cold, same dark, same night, same sunshine, same light. Together we stand, divided we fall. Now put your hands against the wall and let me search you. Not to arrest or disrespect, but because I need to know the truth between me and you. That's that piece. This summer's been very interesting for me. As the line goes in the tale of two cities, it's been the worst of years. It's been the best of years, the worst of times and the best of times. And this summer, I've had a lot of losses. But one of those losses was my dear friend and the mother of my oldest daughter, Francesca Collier. A few weeks ago, my daughter, Tiffany, asked me to eulogize her mom. And in our writer's circle, I prepared this piece, called It Seems Like Only Yesterday We Met. I saw you from across the room. Then you moved toward me, your hips banging, boom, boom, boom. You had me hypnotized, mesmerized, paralyzed, and we hadn't said a word. In fact, I was speechless, couldn't say a thing. From that moment forward, we were inseparable. Joined at the hips, laid at the lips. In the beginning, we were terrible kissers. With time, we got better. Kisses got wetter. We were better and stronger together, complemented each other. I love math, you love to read. I move slow, you love speed. Between us, we met every need. I can't believe you're gone. You left me alone to father our daughter. Been a while since I did that alone. But in my soul, I know you ain't gone, because you helped me write this piece. That's that piece, y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Blackman. For those of you that want to follow along, our Team Virgo, Miss Grace Cooper, who is the secret sauce behind the scenes, has put together a PDF for audience members to follow along. So if you want to peek into the chat and click on the link, if you care to, you can read along some of our authors' written prose. We implore you not to lose the magic of watching authors share their words in live time. But if you want that additional piece, please avail yourself in the chat. At this time, we are thrilled to enter into the building two of our authors who published formally. Just big love to Big Mike and Jean on the scene, bringing the love and light to the CLA. So if you saw us a little distracted, we're thrilled for published authors to swell the ranks. At this time, we would like to move on to our next presenter. This author is a Leo, and she leads the way. Educator, facilitator, writer, wanderer, Dr. Moore currently works at ConTextos, where she uplifts all generations with her brilliance, generosity, and global wisdom. While designing programs, forging community, she also co-facilitates the 3 p.m. Open Cyber Circle, which has met exactly 189 times since the beginning of COVID. She also is providing us constants in this world of variables. Most recently, she also helped facilitate Dear Chicago's CPS version with our fabulous Dimitri Hepburn, sound engineer extraordinaire, podcast producer and facilitator, who is also helping the magic happen this evening. And that circle, as Johnny mentioned, really was an inspiration for this storytelling evening this evening. Dr. Moore's favorite color is orange. Both her quadruped and biped family are central to her soul. She's recently created a place of joy, living, and creation in Bronzeville. The future mayor of Markham holds light years of wisdom and power in her pen. Dr. Moore.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for that incredible introduction. I'm not sure that I can live up to it, but I'm going to give it a shot. I want to shout out to all the CPS students, current and former, who are in the audience tonight. It's great to have you along with us, and particularly those who participated this summer in the Dear Chicago pilot program. And here is my piece, Where Do You Find Joy? Where does one find joy in the time of COVID-19? With the bodies of 200,000 dead littering the landscape, with their families, friends, and communities' grief riding the wind and drifting through the ether upon fire and dust, and through floods and hunger, replete with apocalyptic skies and the next hurricane, the next tropical storm. Where does one find joy in a city where our children die from a violence others cannot fathom, though all one needs do is hear their stories, listen in silence to their everyday realities? Know that they sit on the floor, those sofas and chairs and beds abound, so as not to be easier targets in their homes. They play electronically, inside, in enclosed places, cloistered in their personal holy places, because to do otherwise, to go to parks, to sit at the shore is what others do in other places beside other waters. I find joy on the 4th floor of a brownstone walk-up. I find joy in my ergonomic seat overlooking the concrete playground of Holy Angels Catholic School. I find joy in the sound of laughter out of the mouths of babes who, though they reside in the shy, a place where a trip to the bodega is rife with planning and strategy, where sitting on the stoop with friends is rarely simple, where playing in a park in the green spaces that abound even here is never easy. I find joy in Cadero's smile that transformed his self-proclaimed mean mug into a visage of light and laughter and the hope reflected in how his mother, so small beside her tall, gangly son, and how she looked up at him and spoke of this, his senior year, and her excitement for it to end and for him to go off to college away from here, outside of Chicago, she said. I find joy in that mother's happiness, despite the sorrow that her hopes for him must need reside away from a place we all love. I find joy in Cordero looking down at her at his side and saying, "Mom, you will leave with me. You will also leave Chicago." I find joy in witnessing Kiera's mother proudly peeping through the screen of their front window as her daughter poses with a poster reflecting her person and her voice. I find joy in Dimitri and I simultaneously turning to one another as we leave Kiera's stoop and saying, that right there is everything. Khalil Gibran's prophet said that one's joy is one's sorrow unmasked. And perhaps he was precisely right. For I find joy in the laughter of children who seem so unmoored by all around them at the selfsame time that they are living and playing, growing and learning in a city that seems so set against their flourishing. Perhaps the prophet was right, that one's joy is one's sorrow unmasked, for I am able to find all this joy in our youth, in the youth outside my fourth floor vantage point, precisely because it counters the sorrow I have for the loss of my own innocence as a child, as small as they are, and they appear from my brownstone window. Thank you.
If wherever you are, whether you're here with us in the basement of the CLA, or if you're in your house or in your car, whenever you feel a piece that moves you, go ahead and snap your fingers. That's how we show love in the author circle. That's how we do it. Thank you, Dr. Moore. So at this point, we are honored that one of our authors will step in to read a piece by a founding author from North Lawndale, the west side of Chicago, where many of our hearts live and love. Michael Hunter is not able to be with us this evening as he's caring for his family. And fortunately, Jamel has agreed to step in and to read his piece. Michael Hunter is a founding author from North Lawndale's Firehouse. His first piece that he published, entitled Letter with No Address, is truly a seminal ConTextos memoir, which we have read in every circle since that time. Dozens of circles across the city of Chicago have started their journey as memoir writers, reading, analyzing, and being inspired by Michael's memoir, Letter with No Address. He is currently working on his second book. He brings revisions for feedback in a weekly revision circle launched by Dr. Moore called Caterpillars to Butterflies on Sunday afternoons. A devoted family man, Michael and his wife are currently raising their children outside of the state of Illinois while working full-time and staying deeply committed and connected to his family, the West Side, and the city he loves and believes in, Chicago.
Peace and love this evening. My name is Jamel, and I'll be doing this piece titled Dear Chicago. Dear Chicago, I miss the old you. Those days when kids can play in the park without having fear of being shot. I miss going downtown, looking at the skyscrapers and lights. I miss you dearly, but I cannot see myself coming back. The beautiful Windy City is now the city of sorrow. My city needs help, but who is going to step up and do it? It is like the world blocked Chicago out and left us to fend for ourselves. There's poverty, violence, no counseling, poor academic systems, not enough programs for the kids, and we need help. Let's open doors instead of locking cells. Let's speak up daily. Instead of when police kill someone, let's put pressure on the head Chicagoans to step up. Most importantly, let's take our city back. I did not or never will turn back on my city, because the city made me who I am today. But I couldn't let it be the early death of me or my kids. Time to wake up and step up, true Chicagoans. Let's get our city back. Let's get more funding for schools. Let's set up sports camps all over Chicago. Let's build more boys and girls clubs, more job opportunities. Instead of summer camps, let's do it all year camps, dance studios, counseling hotspots, art studios, and so much more. If we get those type of places in the heart of the city, then it might open up the minds of more younger people to become greater. Dear Chicago.
Thank you, Jamel. At this time, we move into our next piece from a CPS author. You are about to see a video that was created under the wings of Dr. Moore Dimitri and the CPS Author Circle. Anaya is an author who radiates exuberance and excellence. The CPS Circle piloted video memoir letters to our beloved city. Please feel free to check out our ConTextos website if you want to see more of the videos from the extraordinary CPS authors who are in our constellation. Anaya is a senior at Hyde Park Academy. She's looking forward to the future. She's a lover of pigs and the color blue, a sweet and sour kind of girl. Here is Anaya's letter to Chicago.
Dear Chicago, I am Anaya. I'm a 16-year-old girl born in Las Vegas, Nevada, but raised in Chicago, Illinois. I am pure-hearted and caring. I am a writer and reader, but sometimes a procrastinator when it comes to those things. I am a teenage girl trying to get through high school. I am an honor roll student. I am a top 10 student. I am creative and I love to think outside the box. I am a pig lover and the color blue lover. I am a sour over sweet type of girl. I am loyal and funny. I am human. I am an idol. Summer 2020 in Chicago is different. It's dangerous. It's just not the same. Excuse me, ma'am. Can you put your mask on? Do you have a mask? Oh my God, I forgot my mask. Can you please have your mask over your nose at all times? Thank you. That's all I hear all day, every day. The pandemic really ruined the summer for us. You can't go anywhere without a mask, and it's limited people in the store or anywhere you go. The masks are suffocating, and it's already hot. You can't cough, sneeze, or have a normal cold or allergy without people looking at you disgustingly, or someone asking, you got corona? This summer is dangerous. Little kids are dying, and like 3 to 4 people from my school died this summer. Nobody's safe. I wish I could say, oh, this summer is a movie or it's fun, but it's not. It's nowhere near fun. I hate this summer, honestly. This summer is not it. My life is like a never-ending roller coaster ride, but instead of it being my favorite ride that I never want to get off, it's the scariest ride in the park, and I want to get off, like, now. There have been some fun twists and turns on this ride, but there have also been some scary deep drops that make me want to hold the bar tightly and pray to God I make it down. And not to mention that the whole ride you have to wear a mask. I hate it here. I want to get off and go to a more fun ride, but it seems as if this roller coaster won't stop. It's the feeling of having your eyes closed the whole ride and not knowing what's coming next, but you just hope and pray that it's over soon. This is the ride where you say, well, that was an experience, but I'm never doing that again. It's just one of those rides where when you get off, you never look back because that was here. This summer hasn't been the best summer out of my whole 16 years of living, but this summer has been the summer of my first experience. My first experience of a pandemic, my first experience of losing people to gun violence, my first experience of online school, and many more things. Hopefully this will be my first and last time of experiencing those things, because Lord knows I can't take another life-changing event. Chicago should be a place that people want to visit and move to, and not a place that people want to run away from. Chicago should have better streets and better neighborhoods. Chicago should not be segregated. Chicago should not be referred to as Chirac. Chicago should be a place with a lot of opportunities. Chicago should be known for more positive things. Chicago should be safer. In order for Chicago to get to that place I identified, we would need more gun control. We need for people of Chicago to stop playing favoritism and help build up the neighborhoods that aren't white or aren't downtown. Chicago needs to have more accomplishments. Chicago should be known for more positive things rather than being known as Chirac or a place with a lot of violence. This can only happen if the city comes together and try to make a difference. This can only happen if people actually cared enough to want to change Chicago. This can only happen if there is change within ourselves. My life should be like a movie where I can go out and have fun without the violence or fearing for my life. I shouldn't be scared to walk out my door. I should be able to walk out my house with wherever I want to go and not be harassed or sexualized by boys or even grown men. I shouldn't have to cover my thighs if I don't want to or cover my shoulders because men can't control themselves. I should be able to have a say-so in my life and not feel like I am being controlled. I should be able to make mistakes and learn from them on my own. I don't want to hear the don't do this or I've been there, done that talk because I want to know for myself. My life shouldn't be compared to anyone else because we're not the same. My life should be a little easier. Like I shouldn't have to deal with daddy issues, toxic relationships, or past trauma. My life should have value and be treated with care. My life should matter. My life should be a life I want to live. A life where I never even think about wanting to end it all.
Thank you, Anaya. Thank you for your vision, for feeding our spirits of what is possible and what is true. And we speak from our hearts and speak and honor our vision. And speaking of candor, speaking of vision, speaking of the bravery and the fire that it takes to lead, I would like to introduce our next presenter, who is our fearless, peerless leader, the executive director of ConTextos, Deborah Gittler. Aries started this entire journey, like all of us as human beings, long ago, but has about just 10 years ago, set foot in El Salvador and started an organization that would blossom to a transnational community that supports healing, that supports the power of human beings telling their own stories. So without further ado, I'd like to pass the mic to Deb to share your truth and your light and your passion. Deb.
Thank you, Lisa. Anaya, that was so awesome. And Cardero, like just knowing you guys are in the audience and having faces with names, I think like everybody, the last 6 months being so far away from the people that we serve and the people that we love most is so frustrating. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's here. I want to recognize, you know, of course, ConTextos board, all of our partners on the South Side, on the West Side, and in Cook County Sheriff's Department. I know there's a lot of authors who are at the CLA right now with us too, current authors and alumni authors. And just to recognize Lisa and Grace, who've helped put so much of this together, Dr. Moore, Dimitri and Darius and Johnny, and our two newest team members, Naima and Vanessa, who I think are both celebrating 1 week today. And of course, the Big Shoulder Stories production, who's been helping us with this. You know, putting this on, I've learned today, we in ConTextos, we pivoted to digital the day that our office is closed, which was over 6 months ago now. And now we're pivoting again into hybrid. And it turns out that that is also really hard to do. So I want to recognize all the people I've mentioned, because not only is everything digital and on a digital platform, but now it's some people being present and some people being someplace else and some people being in another room. And the logistics of all of that is bringing up a whole new question about what the challenges of the next few months are going to be, not just for us, but for all of us. I also just want to recognize that, you know, for us, this work is about relationships. It's about building the trust and vulnerability to tell stories and to share stories. So we get to share this one brief moment, but this happens after months and months of people learning to open up and be vulnerable. During the time with COVID, you know, in ConTextos, we didn't do a fundraising drive. We've been lucky enough to have some support, you know, to reach out to people that we knew know us best. but we understood that at this moment, when everything feels strained and everything feels critical, and as you guys have heard, where there was so much loss within our immediate community, and not just homicides of the people that we know, but the loss and the shootings of the people that we love most, who they love most. It didn't feel like a time to ask for donations or support, but we do want to recognize that for a lot of you, this might be the first time coming to our event. Some of you come to every single one of our events, and this is relationship. And so we hope that you get something from us, and we would ask that you give something back, whether that's a donation, whether that's continuing to show up, to reach out to our authors, to see what they're putting out, to email or text our team and give them ideas and support. We now have over 500 authors in Chicago, and if you know our work, they're from Chicago public schools to workforce development on the south and west sides, to individuals who we've met in Cook County Jail. We know that our authors are thriving. Like you heard with Michael Hunter, he's doing well in Arkansas right now. Our authors are all over the place, and we want to lift up their stories more now than ever, because these are the voices we most need to hear. And we also want to recognize that that reliance on relationship and our sense of responsibility to those we love most is what's driven us for these past 6 months. So this event tonight is the result of what we launched, what we called Citywide Circle, where we held a space at least weekly, not just for our authors, that's separate, but for the staff members that serve our authors, for the case managers and life coaches and outreach workers who are out in neighborhoods every day trying to change the way we think about addressing trauma and violence, people who are interfering at critical moments to help see the assets in our community rather than the deficits, and remind us to look at the young people and young-ish people and help them rather than punish. And so the Citywide Circle that this Dear Chicago event was born out of, just like the CPS Circle that you saw in Naya's video, those were all done because of the relationships we have, and they were done out of just our instinct to continue to create space for people in Chicago to tell the stories of Chicago. So when we think about, again, the relationships and how we give and take amongst each other, when you think about the letters that we want to write to our city, it feels imperative to remind us all, and something we're doing more and more in ConTextos, is that we have an obligation not just to share our stories and lift our voice, but also to make sure that we vote. So you're going to hear from us throughout the night. In the last few weeks, we've made growing partnerships with voter registration organizations, because we know that many of the people that we are closest to are also the most ignored by our politicians, by our polls, and oftentimes, sometimes they can't vote, many times just feeling so disenfranchised themselves. Chicago, as we've seen this summer, is in the national news every day. And that's because Chicago is important and it matters. It is not because of our violence. It is because as a major city that was once a thriving place for Black people to come to and flourish, and can be again. And so tonight we're asking that this relationship we're building, that the stories you're hearing with authors, not just be a one-time transactional visit, but really the beginning of, or maybe the continuation of, the ongoing way that we can share story, lift up story, and continue to change our story. I hope next year we'll be telling stories that are very different. I know that in October we'll have 2 more publishing events. I know later on this year, 2020, we'll have a couple more, and we're very excited and maybe naively planning for in-person events in 2021 and beyond. We'll be going back to programming in Cook County Jail before the end of this year. We'll be expanding in Auburn Gresham all throughout the fall, continuing to reach young people who are now more disenfranchised than ever, as our schools are studying from remote, and as the violence continues to unfortunately lead our headlines. We believe, and we will continue to create space to tell, sometimes, as Johnny said, those stories that are hopeless, and always find the hope within them. So thank you so much. It is awesome to see friends from near and far. There are friends from graduate school who we started this program with over 10 years ago. There are friends from just recent circles. It's, I wish we could all be together in a room, but it feels like we are anyway. So thank you, and thank you, Lisa, for the time.
Thank you, Deb. At this time, we bring to the microphone another founding author, a man whose piece is riveting, compelling, disturbing, and really important to know and understand. Mr. Antoine Tug Evans is a published author from ConTextos Original Iman Circle, who continues his journey as a writer and author in our weekly alum circle. Tug's powerful insights and deep reflections are urgent, and his unrelenting heart encourages everyone in his orbit to stay tuned, to stay open, to stay looking, to stay listening, and most of all, to stay the course. Tug's leadership shows the way, and we are honored to hear his most recent piece of writing, straight from his heart, and extraordinary and intense experiences that both Tug and other human beings on a regular basis continue to navigate and survive. Tug?
Hello, everyone. My piece is called The System, and I wrote this piece after reading about the statistics of the penal system and also experiencing, living in the penal system. And after reading those statistics, I figured that it was important to express it to the world and people that's affected by it and those that don't understand it. It's called The System. Some say I made it by luck. I say I made my shot with a focused aim, just in time to catch the early morning wave of the success train. Dealing with life through multiple dimensions and aspects, I refuse to be Officer Murphy's fresh catch in the grand scheme of paychecks. Turn your OCP down. I'm not your prospect. Furthermore, screw your adopted constitution along with your Anglo-Saxon British courts. The hell with your criminal sports, trying to play the lives of the masses short. Robocops on the stand programmed to uphold the oath and tell a damn lie, to maintain the order of supply. Hold up, wait, in my grown man legal tone, I object with all due respect, standing to the color eyes of these corporate guys as they analyze. I'm in my proper persona, and I recognize the color lies commonly understood to the nation of 85 as laws. This judicial system is flawed, aimed at y'all. Better yet, you and I versus the state of prosecutors. This cast is a maze and is waved with a dirty wand. As the hammer drops, the spell is blissed, opposed on the universes by the prosecutors. You know the attitude, do what I say or I'll shoot you. With the invisible gun of hard times and misery. Fuck you and your moms mentally. The weapons shoot calendars, enough to drown your family with years of tears. Reminds me of the Christian Crusaders. Number 666, you know the beast, the man, the monster, your mind, body, and soul, he's out to conquer. Emerge to see, just to mentally bondage me. Is this the big emergency? Make Americanas great again, why? So it can nitpick at me, force the hand of my destiny? Ayo, judge, I paid my quarter, so it's my honor. I pay taxes for you to sit on the bench and dictate/manipulate. I understand the codes. So let's translate. That bench you sitting on means bank in Latin, yet you call me the perpetrator and thug, lost child in need of a hug. Like I don't comprehend admiralty jurisdiction, i.e. international money contract signed in 33 by the logical bird brains of Roosevelt. We talking bank credits in the form of promissory notes, fiat papers with dead faces of many men with wigs. Should have followed the philosophy of the man on the copper coin. Never do business with international bankers, resulting in a bankrupt country since the year 1938. Fort Knox don't house enough gold plates equivalent to the 19 trillion. That explains Operation COINTELPRO and the new Jim Crow. Mass incarceration from the past to the future generation. I know that you know that I know that you know I know. It's no veil over my eyes. I don't need a lawyer for hire to weigh in on the secret oath of the secret annually $183 billion prison industry, mentally and physically to cage me. Designed mentally and physically to cage me. Words to the death ears of the universe. This is systemic slavery. Best know the difference between attorney and lawyer. One's a professional liar, but they both took the oath pulling in 4.5. Make no mistakes, prosecution 5.8. Just to make calls is 1.3. Gas station commissary food 1.6. Bail fees 1.4. Cost of family is 2.9. aliens with a beat. No coincidence why CPS programming horribly failed me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tug. At this time, we are honored to bring to the microphone an author and her youngest born. Sadia finds the stories of ordinary people extraordinary. She spends her life creatively encouraging people to honor their own stories and express them through poetry, music, painting, ceramics, and other experiences. She is a mother of 3 boys, an artist, a believer in justice, and has a whole lot of life experiences to draw from and connect with others on. We are thrilled that Sadia has joined our circle and is shining her light this evening for all to see and hear. Sadia.
Peace, everyone. Peace and blessings. I'm here, as Lisa said, with my youngest, Amadou, and my 6-year-old, our oldest, Issa. And I just want to give a special thank you to Lisa and to Johnny for inviting me to be a part of these citywide circles and to take a pause and connect with my partners and my colleagues and just reflect on our reality and honor our stories. And I thank you all for that work that you all do a day in and day out. I wrote a short piece called The Journey of Self-Growth, and it was in response to this quote by Stephen Covey. The quote is, "Be patient with yourself. Self-growth is tender. It's holy ground. There's no greater investment." So this is the journey of self-growth. Growth takes place through a really awkward phase. Some try to save face, others move through it with grace. You start at a point when discomfort is anointing. There's very little hope in until you reach an opening. Ready for transformation, you may receive affirmation. So be open to listen. The water is glistening. The soil is fertile. Your soul is holy ground. Never stop growing or else you're 6 feet underground. You heal, then you grow. You reap what you sow. If you know, then you know. Self-growth is like, whoa. Thank y'all.
Bless up. I'm sorry that I only saw one young person. We're glad that the full second star has come too. At this time, we're bringing a familiar face to the microphone. You heard his gorgeous voice share Andre's published piece. And now Jamel comes to the microphone to share his own chef d'oeuvre. Jamel is currently an author in ConTextos Circle at Iman. He is a deep thinker with a boundlessly compassionate heart. He is currently finishing publication of his complete book, a work of poetry and design. Jamel epitomizes author circle values: being brave, being candid, expanding our own comfort zone, seeking support and sharing resources, and offering love and bearing witness in moments that are extraordinary and sometimes extraordinarily difficult. We are honored to hear your work this evening, Jamel, and we look forward to learning from you, heart, mind, and soul. Jamel.
Peace and love this evening. My family in Chicago. I'm gonna get right into it. It is a storytelling event. This story is a boy bundled in burdens from birth. Born in 91 of the 1900s, to a mother named Carolyn and a father named Jerome, whom to he is unknown. Eric Charles the Grown, 6 pounds, 5 ounces, dark-skinned, mad handsome, living in a single-parent home where moms bought crack and changed his Pampers. Until she got arrested for what she called shopping. By age 2, he began house hopping. until she got arrested for what she called shopping. DCFS took Carolyn's place, so naturally, Eric became a ward of the state. At age 6, an aunt he never missed showed up with the kiss. Her boyfriend, his uncle, started to molest him, so he stayed up at night or slept in the pantry. His aunt never really wanted him, gave him away the next year. Eric's back in the system, but not for too long. At age 8, he was adopted by a family where he thought he belonged. On the outside, it all seemed picture perfect, with 10 siblings and 2 parents who both were working. But on the inside were the details never meant to leave the house. Dysfunctional, every member needed to shrink with the couch. During the time of Carolyn's incarceration, Eric took a trip to visit her like mini vacations. For a few months, love was received, but from a mother that was beaten. So of course, his stress was continuously building. From ages 9 to 15, the mother of the house stayed beating him, while his father sat drinking gin. All these years thinking he was to blame. Eric, a shame to the family name, pissing on himself almost every other day. Because of his younger years, his siblings thought he was gay. There was nothing he could say. Too afraid of what would come his way. Forced to eat his own vomit, when asked of his mother why, she offered no comment. Instead, this is what he profits: belts, wire hangers, fists, and plates. It seems Eric is being punished from hate, so he tries to escape to a place of solitude, distancing himself from everything that was real. How could you possibly understand how he feels? Abandoned, used, neglected, and abused. Yet still he refused to be confused, treated like an outsider, playing by different rules. In a house that doesn't deserve to be called a home, Eric at an early age began to claim he was grown, unbeknown what his future will hold. This is a 5-part story. That was part 1. His story, the escape. Eric's now 16, selling drugs and chasing dreams, acting a fool and planting seeds. And his nieces and nephews, when from the start, he should have let them be, showing them all wrong and teaching them nothing right, expressing his own anger, showing them how to fight. Eric himself was just mad, failing his junior class, ditching school to smoke weed and chase ass. He and his parents, still they clashed. So he bugged, because life's not what expected. Still haunted by his past, so he's feeling disrespected. 2 years prior, when Eric was 14, his mother Carolyn was set free after 12 years in the pen. But moving in with her was a battle he couldn't win. Adjusting to the streets was hard for her to do. So she began using crack again, lying, saying she was cool. Carolyn's sister, his aunt, soon overdosed on dope. So Carolyn sought help through treatment, but Eric just couldn't cope. One night in his own room, he took a knife to his own wrist. Luckily, his brother saved him, seeing the potential risks. Still experimenting with drugs and having unprotected sex, Eric's caught an STD, but still haven't learned yet. So he placed the sucker's bet, where he joined the hood's gang and bottled up all his pain. Now he's touting pistols and shouting the gang's name. At age 17, Eric thought he was free and started openly expressing what his family just didn't see, voicing his opinion on how things should be. And if they didn't change soon, promising he would flee. On graduation day, Eric had nothing to say. He packed his backpack with his diploma and ran away. The aftermath. Eric's now 18 in the streets cursing life. Head hung in defeat, wondering how he accumulated so much strife. Talking out of emotions, now forced to swallow his words. Eric sleeps where he can. He's just lucky it wasn't cold. At first, it would suffice to live with lovers and friends until they figured out he wasn't making any ends. So benches, bus terminals, and garages are where he slept at night, until the mother of the house ended up finding him late one night. Choosing to go home since all other plans were exhausted, he slept in his own bed, not knowing what that had costed. Back home, nothing changed. So once again, Eric became a hostage in his own house. Every door in the place was bolted or locked. Bars on all the windows, there was no way to get away. So he faked to take the trash out, then made his great escape. Walking aimlessly one night, a bullet flew past his head. Eric thanked God for his luck, but still wondered why he wasn't dead. Crying uncontrollably for block after block, Eric made it to his brother's house where he knew he was safe. He explained his situation, and his brother accepted it on faith. And from that day forward, an unbreakable bond had connected. Living rent-free, going to school, and working hard. Eric's living life. He even has his own car. But that still wasn't enough. He began to rob and steal. Eric's victim number 4 had a gun card, and it's the 3rd time he could have been killed. Victim number 8 was his biggest mistake. Police set up a sting and locked Eric away. Now facing 21 to 45, Eric's caught by surprise. Sitting in a cell every night, he cries. Still uncertain of his future, blessed literally, yet never knew. And this is where it changed for the better. Eric's now 22 and is 4 years down the road. Jail life is stale and is getting on his nerve. Living in this mistake is a hell of a remembrance. Every court date the same, judge yelling out continuance. $65,000 is his bond, so bail is not imminent. And if his decisions were different, Eric would have missed this. Lunch equates to bologna, cookies, and bread. Dinner is horse slop, breakfast is dead. So many thoughts are living in his head, so Eric begins to write poetry instead. No more gangbanging, shooting craps, or playing cards. Watching TV or cracking jokes will only get him so far. So he reads, pleased to know that knowledge is the key, obtained and retained at a flat rate fee. But see, Eric is depressed. Visits, mail, or money come random at best. Eric doesn't want to become another pest, lest the ones he loves get stressed. They shouldn't have to face the consequences of his mess. So Eric enrolled in drug treatment. There he learned to become a man. That no matter what in life, on his own 2 feet, he must stand. Eric also became a peer tutor, giving back what he can, helping others achieve their GED to aid his fellow man. Overcoming this obstacle proved no small feat, yet this is Eric's chance to change and a mistake he won't dare repeat. Still struggling with his identity and what he wants to be, Eric sets his plans in motion, knowing one day he'll be free. Taking every opportunity to empower his mind, Eric plants his feet firmly on solid ground, accepting the consequences of his catastrophic situation, knowing this too shall pass. All he needs is a little patience. What you just heard is my living story through words. Now the past hurts a little less. So I thank you all. Until the next. This is the next, the very last one, right? Eric's now 23, with close to 4 more years to go. He finally made a decision, that which was all his own. 17 years at 50% is a hell of a lot of time, but now he can see the end of that which was once hard to find. A burden has been lifted, an unknown shifted. Blessings came with faith, which only shows Eric has been truly gifted. Had he continued childish choices, chances were he would have missed it. And the deeds he's done demand that it's no longer the devil's decision. I'm daring to be different. I say I'm daring to be different. Though still affected by pain inflicted, and with the system as my conviction, I'm now convinced with righteous living. Eric's grown into a man, no longer life's fan. At the age of 27, he'll be freed from his can. The question on everyone's mind is, can he sustain his elevated mental or put to use his new credentials? Or was it all just superficial? Because though he has the innate potential to be influential, he too can be forgetful. Finally released, fresh air in his lungs, a smile on his face because Eric's feeling lots of love. But his journey's not done, just one of many wars that need to be won. Thank you for listening to Chicago.
Jamel, bless you. And so for everyone that wants to read more of Jamel's work, get ready. He will be publishing his complete Shade Dove very soon, and will be using ConTextos website and his own flow to make sure that you are aware of it. So stay tuned. Make sure you sign up so that you can buy Jamel's book and his masterpiece memoir, which is his truth. At this time, we're circling around the bend, coming closer to from the Alpha to the Omega. We're bringing to the microphone an extraordinary human being from the west side of Chicago, a proud member and leader of the Ma'afa Redemption Project. Delshawn is a disciple of Christ and an encourager of all human beings, a leader, a contemplative, a righteous human being. Delshawn challenges us to reach inside ourselves and to see that which is possible, to use vision that is beyond simply our eyesight. We call him the pastor in circle, and his unrelenting faith in humanity keeps all of our spirits buoyed and keeps us on point. Ladies and gentlemen, Delshawn.
Thank you. The title of this piece is My Dear Chicago. Oh, my dear Chicago, how I love thee, how I thirst for times of old. Behold, that time is fleet. The fire hydrant water parks that close our golden streets, the barbecues on avenues and parks and on the beach. In strife, I search for simple words to display how I feel. For we are more than conquerors, yet struggling to heal. We are struggling to thrive. We are struggling to live. We are struggling to find the ease for all the pain within, all the mental deprivation, lack of real appreciation, all the love and dedication turned to fake and imitation, and officials irritating, price inflation overrated, but like, hey, if Oprah made it, right? Advocate for tunnel sight and never lose your view of light, and making sure yours is shining bright. So who are we to fight? And who of us is wrong or right? Who goes on to victory while marching through the night? So standing side by side, looking forward, not behind, let us search the more inside to captivate the truth that lies. Thank you.
Bless you, Delshawn. Thank you. Coming to the microphone at this time is our penultimate presenter. Naima is a compassionate change agent who is no stranger to storytelling. She's an award-winning journalist, a mom, an advocate, and one of the newest members of the ConTextos family. Coming on board as the Director of Communications and Development. Her beloved elder dog, Dior, is likely at home right now listening and missing her while tucked under his blanket. Ladies and gentlemen, Naima.
Thank you, Lisa, or laying in his mommy's bed, one of the two. One of those is cushier than the other. I just want to say good evening to everyone. I'm so excited to be here tonight as an official part of the ConTextos team. I know the last time I was on a storytelling event, which was right at the start of all the COVID craziness, I had a chance to participate in a circle, in our afternoon circle, and be a part of the garden party, which for me it was right on time to be able to have an outlet, a platform, and essentially just an extended family to share space with as we kind of navigate this really crazy time. And so I'm incredibly thankful to my colleagues and those who were a part of that. Without further ado, I will share a piece that I wrote as a part of the citywide circle this summer, and I'm fiddling with my phone here, so bear with me. And it's simply titled, Dear Chicago, It's Complicated. Dear Chicago, I remember I used to look forward to our summers together. Little girl me playing on the playground in the middle of Old Town on Orleans Street, the sun beaming, the temperature rising, heading back into a dark classroom where the teacher had cut the lights off to keep it cool, and we'd put our heads down on the desk and beg for the fans to be turned on, counting down the days left of school. We had fans. We had fans in every classroom. I mean, you had to know that as a student in your broken school system, I'd learned with time that we had fans when there were students who barely had textbooks on the other side of town, let alone a mechanism to help diffuse the hot, thick, stale air smothering them inside of old classrooms. They were cheated, looked over, afterthoughts. I won't forget. You won't let me forget. That was over 20 years ago, and it's still true today. 2 whole decades, and quality education and a positive learning environment is still somehow a luxury and not a necessity. Summer breaks. Summertime meant basking in your beauty as I knew it. I'd kiss Sedgwick Street and the horses inside of the small stable directly across from my living room window goodbye and head to the south side. You know what they call them now? The wild hunnets, though they were never really all that wild to me. My sisters and I were safe back then to hop the red line to 95th, from 95th, a bus to 125th in Halsted. I knew when I saw the sea of flowers, the deer, and the eternal flame past the large iron gate, and the giant black letters that read Cedar Park Cemetery, we'd made it to our destination. We were safe to walk a block to Granny's house, or sometimes cut across the lot of St. Peter and Paul Church. To us, it was more than just a lot. It was a place where the kids on the block could be kids, ride bikes, play softball once the sun had set, where you could easily be found when curfew kicked in. And we were safe. Bullets didn't fly there. It was one of my favorite parts of you, and I loved it. I hate that these summers, these days, that young Northside girl who has grown into a Southside woman knows, just like you know, the bullets are flying way too much, shattering way too many lives, ending futures, tainting that innocent summer fun. We used to look forward to the fireworks on the lot after the family 4th of July picnic. I hate fireworks now. They kept us all on edge this summer, mostly because we were playing everybody's not so favorite guessing game, gunshots or fireworks. Turning on the news would answer that question. We traded in basketball playoff scores, series standings, and baseball games on the sports ticker to scroll the daily body count across the screen. I've lost count, and I think you've lost control. It seems your nasty pandemic is claiming more lives than COVID. Your blocks are infected, your communities are crippled and hurting. And slowly but surely, all your zip codes are starting to see it and recognize it because it's infecting their blocks too. We're crying collective tears, our voices, our angst filling your streets, strengthening the calls that you keep ignoring. The looting and rioting looks a lot different from the days of those Bulls championship celebrations gone wrong. Shit is just going wrong. They say you have a violence problem, but we know your issues run deeper than just one word. This sickness, this hate running rampant, these disparities, this discord, your abandonment, your recklessness, your racism and crooked, troubled ways have been handed down from generation to generation. But generational curses are meant to be broken. In Gen X, Y, Z, they're showing up with pretty strong muscles. You're notorious for your cold and wicked winters, but even with 90-degree temperatures, this somehow felt like one of the coldest summers ever. Dark, too. There's this growing gray cloud hovering over you, making it hard to decipher if I'm in Shy City or Gotham. If I put up the signal, who will come? We can't call the police, but I do recall a time when we posted signs in our windows that said, "We call the police." Those words have become null and void, at least on my side of town. Your finest are failing us, they have a history. Your leaders are failing us, they've been too trusting. We've been too trusting, maybe even too committed. I have tried breaking up with you a few times now. Atlanta, Charlotte, DC have all crossed my mind, and I know not one place is perfect. Grass is greener where you water it. You should also know that suburbia has been calling me a lot lately. I mean, have you seen how green the lawns are there? And with every life tragically lost, every dishonest elected official, every ticket, every boot, every rent increase, disinvested community, shuttered school or mental health clinic, every tent city, every unjust police interaction or shooting, and every voice that has gone unheard triggers a little voice inside urging me to turn my back and walk away. Summer trips to Granny's house look different these days. I've watched the decline over the years. There's a gate around the parking lot now. And across the street, weeds have replaced the sea of flowers. The deer are ghosts. The big black letters have disappeared and the eternal flame now extinguished. Still, I want to go there. I've also watched you decline tremendously. And despite your despair, your flaws, your brokenness, and the faded memories, still, I want to be here. I want this to work. I want you to shine far beyond a stunning city skyline. I want to fall in love with summer again, and maybe start to love winters, although that might be a stretch. I want you to rise again. I want you to heal. I want you safe. I want you to celebrate and uplift every part of you, from Old Town to Roseland, Inglewood to Austin, the Mag Mile to Little Village. And I hope that this forgiving, patient, understanding, tough, and unrelenting love sustains you. With love, Naima. Thank you.
It is complicated, but you shared, and it is so true. Thank you, Naima. And now we come back to where we began. Our final presentation of the evening, coming from the mind, heart, and soul of the incomparable Johnny Page. My co-host, my colleague, co-director of partnerships and programs. Johnny Page is a force of nature. He is an unwavering advocate, a devoted family man, a human being who has navigated the trenches near and far and continues to lead all of us home to a space and a place where we deserve and can be our full selves. A special shout out today to Johnny's family and the 1-year anniversary of the birth of beloved baby Dion. So if everybody could please give some love for Miss Baby Dion, who is an anchor in the Page family and in the ConTextos family too, reminding us in the time of COVID that the most important days are still ahead. Pass the mic to you, Johnny Page.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to say two things. The grass is greener where you water it. Powerful. Now the past hurts a little less. This is the power of the personal narrative. This is why we do this work. This is why we tell these stories. This is the power of our stories. Dear Chicago, what's it gonna take for us to do something? To do something besides run our mouths? Do we have to lose all our children to caskets and cages before we do something? Do we allow their potential to be cut off or captured? Or do we do something? Do we get up off our asses and do something, or do we wait on someone else to do something? If you say wait, then you'll be waiting until it's too late to do something. Individually and collectively, we need to do something. Don't sit in silence. Do something. Do something about the violence. Do something. Do something about the guns. Do something. Do something about inequality. Do something. If you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. Inaction is action. So when you choose to do nothing, you're doing something. So do something worth doing. My dear Chicago, I implore you to do something. That piece brings us to our closing, because we want to think about like this, you know, this whole event is fine, right? We hear these stories, we hear this power, and we come to these spaces to hear this, to hear the stories of folks who've survived and thrived despite, right? But what do? What is the next action we take, right? So what are our next steps? You heard Deborah talk about we don't ask for money. We don't often ask, right? And so, but how do we continuously do something, right? How do we continue to do the work and the power of the personal narrative? You've witnessed it tonight. How do we give back? How do we support? We support. You can click on the link and support ConTextos or any of our partners. You can have a conversation with your friends, your coworkers, your families. You can have these conversations. They're difficult conversations, but have the conversations. You can listen. You can seek to understand, to see human beings, to look beneath the surface. We never know what's buried beneath what we see. We're in the voting season, right? And no time like any other. It's never been this important to vote. It's always important, but I feel like it's never been as important as it is today. So Dr. Moore will talk more about the National Voter Registration Day, which I think is today, right? Mm-hmm. Right, so today is National Voter Registration Day. So please click on the link. If you haven't registered, get out and get registered. If you have friends and family who haven't registered, who have this idea that I don't have to vote, inaction is action, right? When you choose to do nothing, you're doing something. There's a choice in that. Get involved. We have open circles that Lisa mentioned that has been going on for 180 some days. We started open circle 2 days after the pandemic began, and we've continuously ran it today. If you don't do nothing but pop in once, come in and see, share the stories, listen, because you are the purveyors of light once you hear the story, right? It's your responsibility to carry that light to the next stop, right? So we have to get out and we have to do something. We can't continue to preach to the crowd. We have to have those difficult conversations with our families and friends who make comments that sometimes we walk past, right? Have these conversations, vote, be vocal, get involved, volunteer. I want to take this time to thank all of our partners, especially Big Shoulders. This event couldn't be possible without Big Shoulders. They came into our world through Open Circle, right? So just think about this. They came into our world through Open Circle, and this is the result of that, right? They use their platform to help us and our platform to help them, and we share these stories and we reach and we touch as many people as we possibly can. It's a responsibility to each and every one on this call. It's a responsibility for all of us to share these stories, to share our truths, to not be afraid. We heard the brother Jamel got on here and he exemplified Author Circle values. When you talk about candor, bravery, comfort zone, I've learned so much just sitting in these spaces, and I love having the opportunity to be able to share what I see on a regular basis in Circle. And I pray that you all will see the value in this. And if you don't do anything but tell someone else about what you heard, what you witnessed here today, then you've helped in some way. But please Get out and vote. Dr. Moore, are we going to have a breakout session for voter registration? I'm not sure if that was going to be possible. Oh, in the chat, you can there's an actual, there we go. So if you want to join, you can sign up to register to vote today if you haven't registered. But I appreciate you all. Thank you all for coming out. Bless you. Lisa, do you have anything else you want to add?
I just want to say, I want to echo what you said and bless everyone for your support. Thank you for everyone who's watching near and far, wherever you are. We thank you for watching and supporting us. And huge shout out to all the authors who bared their hearts, souls, and opened their journals and shared their truth in memoirs. We will soon be putting together an actual publication of these works. So stay tuned. What you see is a little taste up online and issue. But follow us on social media. Follow us so we can stay in the loop and you can read stories and be a part. Never question your purpose. Never question the urgency of being alive right now. We have responsibility being alive right now. And so let us seize that and honor that and take care of each other and ourselves. Circle vibe. All right. And we're going to be opening various circles soon. We have, Johnny, we have Into the Black Beyond that will be starting this fall. We have Credible Messages will be starting this fall. We're working on a bedtime stories collaboration with the libraries and our authors behind walls. We're looking at starting another circle in North Lawndale. We have the open circle is starting again, Johnny, is October 1st. Is changing the theme?
Yes, and we'll be sending out for Into the Black Beyond. We'll be sending, there'll be an open invite for folks that want to actually participate in Black Beyond, Into the Black Beyond. But please follow us on social media, join Open Circle, just pop in. I guarantee you, if you pop in once, you'll come back.
Yes.
Many of you, I see some familiar faces on here. Invite, if you've been, bring someone else. That's my challenge to everyone here who's already participated. Bring one person to Open Circle.
Yes. Without further ado, much love. Take care of each other. Take care of ourselves. Big shout out to Dimitri Hepburn, who's making it happen. Adam, Susie, Gracie, Naima, all the authors that are here in the class. Shine your light and stay connected and stay encouraged. And let's love each other.
Thank you all.
Dear Chicago.